Well, guys, it's another Game Awards and another year for the Goyim Zogbot faggots to get their comeuppance and feel like our culture actually means something that's actually relevant. So, we recently had the Game Awards show for 2025 play out, and of course, we have a audience, a whole crowd of people over here that are just completely buying into where this industry has gone to. Gaming doesn't matter anymore. Gaming is completely irrelevant. It's only the Goyim Zogbot slave faggots that like any of this dog crap that's coming out nowadays. No one who is actually a real human being with an actual real soul actually cares about any of this that's going on, coming out. You know, they announced a bunch of games, bunch of future flops, something about the Street Fighter movie. Who cares? Okay, like some of the casting on the men is good, but the women are not hot enough, okay? Not big enough breasts, not desirable enough hips and all of that, okay? Chun-Li, the chick who is casted for Chun-Li, she is just not Chun-Li, okay? What are we doing here? You know, and here, I can maybe just jump ahead to wherever that was, I don't know. It was when they all lined up and spoke around with each other, but, yeah, right here. So we got this chick who's supposed to play as Chun-Li, all right? And man, it's like, what are we doing right now with the freaking gaming industry? It just feels dead. And they're trying to leverage these celebrities. Who cares about celebrities? Do we really want to see celebrities? You know, honestly, the best casting decisions for anything are always, so right there, that's the Chun-Li chick. Alright, she's thin, okay, probably would bang her. That's a maybe, I don't know. Is she Chun-Li? F no. Are any of these chicks, any of the characters from the freaking games of, what, Street Fighter, whatever it's called? No. You know, the dudes, there's a good number of these dudes, they fit the role pretty well. We got Andrew Schultz, the freaking cuck loser soy boy for freaking faggot leftists. This is their hero. You know how leftists are faggot atheists? Yeah, this is their hero. This is their hero. They're a bunch of cuck soy boy feminists. Yeah, you're pathetic. Go end yourself. You know, it's those freaking losers. This is their hero. And we have some of these guys. I don't know what they're doing here exactly, but anyways, for the most part, it's fine. I mean, Jason Momoa being here. What are we doing? You know, it's like, I'm so sick and tired with anything. And I've always been this way. But even now, especially now, I'm so sick and tired of celebrity casting, because celebrity casting is never meant to be accurate casting at all, ever. Anyways, this chick, her breasts are not big enough, and she's way too thin, okay, to be Chun-Li. Chun-Li has an enormous freaking anus, and she has amazing breasts, all right? That's not it. And then these other chicks, they're flat-chested too. So it's like, what are we doing? Like, come on, really? Like, these are women for these fighter games, and no, these women are supposed to be really busty, and we didn't select busty women. I don't care if these women can fight, because, you know, they lose every fight to a man. Who cares? But, you know, the dudes, I think the dudes are decently cast. At least there's that, but that's it. It's just pathetic. This whole thing's pathetic. You look at it all. But, you know, this is the kind of stuff that we get. Obviously a little bit awkward. And of course, so what happened with the Game Awards outside of all this? All right, this is a lousy announcement. Wow, that guy's totally engaged. He totally cares. Again, these guys, they look like good casting choices. It just legitimately, they're built, look at them. Like, Aryan genetics. This guy's a freaking Aryan Chad. Aryan Chad Riker right here. No, seriously, you look at these guys, especially the white dudes, the buff white dudes that they casted. And again, I don't know what Schultz is doing. This guy's such a joke. And for some reason, he's going to be in this movie. What a freaking clown. This whole thing is clown show nonsense behavior. But, and Jason Momoa, I don't know what he's doing. He's totally let go of himself. He's fat now. So, I mean, good for you, dude. You like food way too much. I'm just going to leave it there. I think he's a leftist retard, as I remember. And, you know, same thing with Gal Gadot and all the other retards. But anyway, you know, the thing I can't stand about this kind of stuff, look at this. I mean, he's trying to be a hype man. It's just not working, dude. This whole thing's not working. Wow, look how engaged everyone is. Ugh. Oh my gosh, dude. The thing, anytime a gaming company, studio tries to do anything like this, it's always a clown show. You know, it's a bunch of people. Man, this guy, by the way, this guy's freaking ripped. Good work on him. Again, like, why can we not get good casting for the women? It's a genuine question for me. You know, we always get good casting with a lot of stuff for the men because, you know, feminism says that we need beautiful men, right? But feminism also says we don't need beautiful women. So this is the issue with it all. And it's always the faggots that, golly, dude. I had some faggots react to one of my recent videos, and it's just like, you guys always just make stuff up out of your freaking butts. It's pathetic. But anyway, moving on. But so what happened with this entire freaking show? And really what's going on with the Game Awards in general? Okay. Obviously, Expedition 33, it just won a bunch of awards. It was pretty much the Expedition 33 awards, right? And I was sitting throughout all of this just like, okay, you know, I always stand to be correct. I'm always vindicated. The faggots always come into my channel and they're always like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're wrong about everything. It's like they're always trying to come after me, acting like everything I think and say is never 100% correct. And I always end up being completely right. And it's on everything. Baldur's Gate 3, complete joke. It's not Game of the Year. Astrobot, game, okay, it's a decent game, but it's not Game of the Year material. And then we have something like Expedition 33, where it's like a good game, and I said, like, this is going to be the best game that comes out this year because nothing else is going to be good. Nothing else is going to be great. Because gaming sucks so bad, and I hated that game, and the majority of the time that I was playing Expedition 33, I had to force myself to play through that game. I couldn't finish it. Because I could not stand the game, I could not stand playing it, I could not stand the characters. It's feminist, also feminized speech patterns, characters. Of course, it's written by a woman. Go figure. It had good humor at certain points in the story from the gestrels, but outside of that, like, the whole game sucked. Okay, the characters were not interesting. They were not compelling. The story plot, literally the plot, dude, I could detect, like, they probably changed directors like 3 or 4 times over. Okay, it's very clear when you can tell that a story is changing pace. It's like they had this idea here in the beginning, then they had this idea in the middle, then they had this idea near the end, and then at the exact end. You know? You always see that with a lot of games, and I've seen this so many times over now with so many games, where it's so clear that many times over, I have no idea. Who the F is this other chick? Again, the women are flat chest. I don't get that. Like, why? Why? It's Street Fighter and the women are flat chested. It just pisses me off. But, you know, so many of the story beats were not finished. Most of the game was meandering in the story. Nothing was actually happening. Nothing of consequence was happening all throughout Expedition 33. And no one cared about the story. No one cared about the characters. No one remembered it after it came out. You know, the game came out, and after the first 2 weeks to maybe four, everyone forgot about it. No one cared, okay? And this is the issue that we have right now. There's no competition. I knew that Expedition 33 was going to be Game of the Year because there's no competition. And what ends up happening? I'm correct. I'm always correct about everything. And of course I knew it was going to be Game of the Year because nothing else good was coming out this year. And it happened. It happened. So, you know, the game had a trashy story, trashy characters. They randomly kill off Gustav. And I sat there when I was playing the game. You know, you can go check out my playthrough. I talk about how I'm pretty sure I did this kind of rewriting or like my own prediction of where the story was going or what it could have been or what they wanted it to be before they changed their director. And my own idea where the story was going was way more interesting. And I was interested. They had me at the start of Expedition 33. And then they screwed it all up. They screwed over the entire thing because they hired a lousy woman to write for their story. That's what ended up happening. I was able to come up, and this is why I hated the game so much. I hated Expedition 33. Not only because it was feminist nonsense, dog trash. Oh yeah, by the way, no sexualizing Catwoman in the Lego Batman game. Okay, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? You know, there used to be a point in time and place in which all the women were sexualized in all of our media, but nope. I mean, Catwoman is a sexual character, and here we are. Anyway. And I don't know why we have to remake freaking Batman now, the Batman Arkham series, as Lego Batman. It's just, they're running out of ideas, dude. It's getting so bad. And then also Poison Ivy, she's also not. I mean, it used to be that on Lego Women, they used to have cleavage. They don't have that anymore. Because everything's lame and gay now. Anyway. So, dude, when it comes down to Expedition 33, the story literally went nowhere the entire time. And I literally came up with a better story on the spot of playing the game than what they were delivering to us. And then when you know what the ending of the story is, it's like, man, this is so disappointing. It's such a letdown. It's like, you guys threw it. You had an interesting start of the game. Obviously a different director. Obviously a different writer. They wanted to go somewhere different with the story. Literally, dude, I don't think people are playing these games. You're either playing these games or you don't have a mother effing soul. You're not a real human being, okay? You're a freaking midwit who prances around like they're freaking a genius, like some intelligent person. You're not. You're a freaking retard. Get used to it. You know, we have these clowns, and apparently they're so smart they can't detect that the story of Expedition 33, the tone was way different. What the characters were talking about, way different. The lines that they were saying. Why is Gustav always saying at the beginning of the game, for those who come after, you understand that by the end of the game, or even by the middle part of the game, Gustav randomly killed off and replaced by a different guy who looks just like Gustav. Now, I had some interesting ideas, like maybe they're going to go this way with the character. No, it was nothing. I mean, they did not need to kill off Gustav. They did that for shock factor. Just lazy writing. Oh wow, character that we're building up. He's the protagonist, and we're supposed to care about this guy, and we're building up our relation with him, and then he's dead. Okay, good job. Wow, is it writing 101 hour for you? Is this the first time you ever written a story? Yeah, I'm sure, because you're a female writer. Go screw yourself. And any of the cocks that are running the bat for this freaking woman, or any writer like this, go fuck yourself. Fuck you. Golly, you people are pathetic. You know, all of you act like you're serious. All of you act like you're to be taken seriously. No, you're all clowns. You're all clowns, and I'm gonna have nothing else to say for you. You are pathetic filth swine. All right. By the way, She-Hulk in this game should be way hotter. Better, larger breasts, thinner, less muscly. You freaking ruined it yet again. Again, everyone's lame and gay now in the gaming industry. Look how freaking muscular she is. Give me larger breasts on She-Hulk. Larger breasts, give me cleavage. You suck. Golly, these freaking homos running the industry sucks. Expedition 33. Gustav saying, okay, so again, what the heck happened with Gustav? They killed him off for no good reason. It was just for lazy shock factor, and then just to replace his character with a guy that's basically Gustav. I had some interesting ideas and maybe what they were doing with that, and then they just completely screwed the pooch on that. As usual. You know, these writers are so incompetent, and this is why I hate modern gaming, because every time I play these games, I'm imagining a better game. I'm imagining a better story, because I have better ideas than these people. They all suck at what they're doing. It's so tiring now. All right, I don't care about the Rust mobile game. Honestly, I don't want to see this. It just pisses me off. Yeah, and then they kept on prancing out these women who are washed up. I mean, like, where's the women with the large breasts? Show me some porn stars. Like, let's just do it, dude. I'm so sick and tired of this. I'm so tired of just seeing women who never had a prime time. They were never super hot. Never. You know, it's only cocks who are ugly themselves that think these freaking washed up women were ever hot. They were never hot. These women were never hot. You're a joke. You're a clown. Again, just show us, throw a bunch of OF chicks, okay? A bunch of OnlyFans chicks, throw them out on stage in a bunch of bikinis. That would literally make this show better. Oh, no, we're not. No, I'm not interested. No, I don't want to know what the Jeets are doing with women. Oh, Jeets make games now. Jeets make games. Oh, we're women. Oh, I'm totally a girl. No, you're not. Get the frick out of here. Yeah, get back on your hormone blockers and get off the stage. Pathetic swine. Anyways. And then, of course, they screwed up Lara Croft. She looks cartoonish and weird, and no one likes this. And they tried to give us a boob shot, but it's like, those boobs are not big, okay? I need larger breasts. I need breasts that I can actually jerk off to. I can't jerk off to this. So it's like, it's not worth it. It's never worth it. All right? Lara Croft, 2013, super hot. I would bust. But I'm not busting over this Lara, all right? You screwed up. You just screwed up. It's lame and gay. Alright, very simple, lame and gay. And then we have a freaking woman, a black woman, as a freaking villain. This is pathetic, okay? What are we doing? Oh, and then she's Spider-Man, by the way. She's Spider-Man. Lara Croft is now Spider-Man. It's a joke. Everything's a joke now. We're just being humiliated every day of our existences. It's so sad. golly, this sucks. Anyways, and I like Camilla Luddington more for the voice, by the way. Anyway, Expedition 33, for those who come after. Literally, I had a rant about this in one of my recent videos. Literally, the developers were saying, as they were getting awards, they were saying lines from their game. Okay, they never delivered on the lines in their game. It never went full circle. You want to see someone that actually can go full circle with the lines in their freaking storytelling? It's me. You know, you can go read my books. I actually can do it. These people are not competent and they're not real. And one of the biggest issues that we're seeing all the time now, they were saying, for those who come after, Gustav says that all throughout the beginning of the game. And it's so clear, again, the beginning of Expedition 33 is so clear that it was a different writer. It is so clear. And by the way, I should have made a freaking video, a review for that game, I guess, because it turned out to be Game of the Year, but whatever. But you know, it's so clear that they had a different writer, because you look at the way that they were setting up the world, there was so much mystery and intrigue, and it's like, who are these dead Jestrels? They're kind of laying around, and okay, we're picking up all these kind of audio logs of the survivors, and it was really interesting. It's like, you know, it's like storming the beach of Normandy kind of feeling at the beginning of the game. Really cool stuff happening, a lot of intrigue around different characters. Again, they screw it by the midpoint of the game very quickly, like early midpoint of the game. It was the second that you left a certain area that I could detect, the writing completely changed. And nice breasts. I mean, not big enough, but nice breasts. Lara, call me. I mean, not big enough, but I will still motorboat. You know, yeah, I mean, I would still smash, for sure. For sure. You go through Expedition 33, though, and it's very quickly throughout the story that it's so clear they changed the writer, they changed the direction of the story, of the game, of the characters, and everything just becomes lame and gay. You know, everything, it becomes a little bit more liberalized. I mean, the whole thing was already soy boy and gay. The whole game is, but clearly at some point they brought in the female writer, and she just starts inserting lesbianism into the characters, undercover lesbianism, and just a bunch of other frickin' oh my gosh, dude. Like, the whole story, the whole game, the characters were just so... the whole thing was so lame. Anyways, I want to go back to the Expedition 33 line that they were speaking, that they were reciting as they were getting awards, right? And they basically won about every single award. They say, for those who come after, literally means nothing. So, right, Gustav is saying this all throughout the beginning of the story before he dies, right? But he's saying it over and over again, and they want that, they want to beat that line into your head because there's something about it that's super meaningful in the story. Guess what happens? Nothing happens. There's no those who come after. There's nothing for those that people after. And by the way, right, the whole thing about the 33, the countdown, right, the whole idea of it, it doesn't mean anything. It has nothing to do with those who come after. The whole story is about this family drama. Again, obviously the female writer came in and she just overwrote whatever the guy... Originally, I think it was a male writer. I think he wanted to go a certain interesting place with the story. The female writer was like, nah. And then she just made it about drama, you know, and everyone's living inside of a painting. What are we doing, dude? Jeez Louise. But, you know, those who come after... Gustav is saying all throughout the beginning of the game, for those who come after. And that's it. That's all it is. Literally, there is no execution on the line. And again, they're winning awards, and they're reciting the lines of their characters or just things said in the game, right? And specifically, they said, for those who come after. I think that's when they won Game of the Year. I think they said for those. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they literally were handed the award. And they said, for those who come after. And I sat there, dude, and I was so pissed off because it's like, mother effer. What a freaking stain on the industry that you are. You are such a joke, you freaking developers. And at one point, you know, I was kind of sitting there and I was like, okay, it's not the worst game to get Game of the Year. But the fact that they have no shame. They didn't finish their writing. They didn't finish their story. They did not even fulfill the line for those who come after. They didn't fulfill a bunch of plot points and plot lines in the game. Okay? There's a bunch of stuff that was not rounded off. There's a bunch of stuff that was being built up towards and it went absolutely nowhere, or they just really under-delivered on it as if they forgot about it. all right? So many different characters, so many different plot points. The whole game, you know, you're going through the story and there's so many different characters. It just feels like they forgot the story. They forgot the idea of the game as you're playing through it. It's crazy, man. And again, I think about the beginning of Expedition 33 and it's clear that they wanted to go a very specific direction at the start of the game. And then they just threw the whole thing, dude. So then they say, for those who come after, and it's like, seriously, I wonder to myself when I hear this stuff, it's like, are we playing the same game? Yeah, by the way, they made up a new freaking black female character for this crap. Yeah, because we're not tired of black people in media yet, right? We need more black people in media. No, we're tired of it. We don't want any more black people in media. We're fed up. We're fed up. Anyway, and they're not inspiring. They're not interesting. But, for those who come after, that line was never fulfilled upon in the story. In any way whatsoever. And the only way that you ever believe that it was fulfilled upon is because you convinced yourself that the line was fulfilled upon. But in no point, time or place, is there actually... okay, when I heard them say that, it is so incontestable that they did not deliver on their story. It's so incontestable that the lines that they think are meaningful from their game, and that they go nowhere, right? Specifically for the line, and there's other lines that they say, but specifically the line for those who come after. It's like, I literally hear that, and I'm like, am I living in an alternate... am I living in an alternate time dimension right now? Did I play the same game as these people? Did I play the game that the female writer made? And are these people living in the timeline that the male writer finished the game? That's the question I was asking myself. Because it's like, dude, like, how do you people say this? Zero shame. Like, how do you not, did you not play your own game? What is going on here? For those who come after, that line, that plot point went nowhere. And there's a bunch of other things about it too. You know, there's a bunch of other details. Again, it's been so long, but there's so many details from the beginning of the game, bro. Gustav's little arm, that prosthetic that I think he invented it. It has some kind of technological application, blah, 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 with a crystal or whatever. And it sounds like something happened there, right? It sounds like it means something for the story, for the plot line. You've got a lot of different details from the beginning of the game. And, you know, and I wish I remembered all the freaking details, but it's like, there were so many different details that they completely drop after the start of the game. It is so insulting that they win Game of the Year. And then they have the audacity, the gall, to sit there on the stage and say, for those who come after, acting as if there was any coherency, any cohesion in the characters and the storyline. It was so clear all throughout the game of Expedition 33 that they were constantly scrambling to finish their story, constantly scrambling to actually finish or have an idea that they're delivering upon. Expedition 33 was going nowhere the entire time. The only thing it had good going for itself was the humor of the Jestrels. A couple of funny moments, and that was it. Well, guess what? You know, writing a story is not stand-up comedy. And even if you're a great stand-up comic, which it was funny at times, it wasn't super, like, wow, super funny, but it was okay. It doesn't matter. In the end, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make the characters memorable. It doesn't make the story have substance. It doesn't make it last. It doesn't make it memorable. So what are we doing here? You won Game of the Year. And that's only because there was no competition this year. There was no competition. Everything else sucked. Literally. There was nothing else to compete. So of course this is Game of the Year. Of course. Expedition 33 is the game that just took the freaking stage. You know, in the past, in many years previous, basically before 2015 and before, most years, almost every single year, there was multiple games that were contenders for Game of the Year. There was a lot of good games that had good characters, good moments, you know, a lot of games were a little bit jankier back then. The technology was not as far along, so there was a lot of scrapped content with a lot of games. And then on top of that, budgets were a big issue. Well, now with DEI, now with BlackRock investing in all these games, these freaking woke activists and advocates, they have an unlimited budget and staff of Jeets to run around and make these games. But guess what? Now you're hiring the wrong people. So now we have untalented, you know, it used to be that we had talented people making, and with passion, talented people with passion making games before 2015. And then, of course, obviously, when Trump got elected, it just changed everything overnight, and a bunch of conservatives were taken out of, or even people who are remotely conservative, they were taken out of the industry, right? And only now is the insane asylum itself allowed to run the operations of most companies, especially gaming. But, you know, we look at so many games in the past, and everything was made by talented men with passion. Nowadays, everything's made by minorities and women, a bunch of untalented people who don't really have passion. They only have propaganda. They have ideology on their side. That's all they have. And guess what? Everything they make is meaningless for that very reason. And again, they don't have talent. They're not competent. They're not capable. And they're not worthy of their position. By the way, the Metroid game sucked. I never got to see Samus, Zero Suit Samus, and we don't know. We didn't get to see her in her enormous breasts, so that also sucks. That's also trashy. Screw you, developers. We should have seen Zero Suit Samus in a bikini in this game, and you didn't give it to us, so screw you. Anyway, you know, and I forgot so many games that came out this year. I mean, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was a joke. It won no awards. Good. But, yeah, that was a joke of a game. And, well, I stand vindicated. It didn't even win any awards. And that doesn't mean anything, really. The Game Awards show is such a joke. But, you know, man, it's just so clear that the right people are not in the industry anymore, right? We have more. It used to be that it was talented men with passion and low budget and low technology. Now we have high technology, high budget, low talent, a bunch of women, bunch of minorities, and these people, they're just not worthy of their role, of their position. They're not worthy of the work that they're doing, and they're not worthy of the austerity that they're given. They're not worthy of any of this, anything. But this is what we're saddled up with. This is what we're forced to deal with. This is an industry that it has been in decline and now it's dead. You see the freaking filth that's coming out nowadays. And this is only the filth that the Goyim Zogbot slave faggots and their cronies. This is the only kind of dog trash that these people would ever like. Nothing coming out anymore has any relevance, any meaning. Expedition 33 was not that great of a game. If it were actually having any competition for the year, it would not have been Game of the Year. It was an average game. It was, you know, by some metrics, it was above average. It was an okay game, but it was not impressive. And there was so much I hated about the game. A lot I did not like about the characters. Again, there's so many things about the characters themselves. All the different characters. That's super, like, depressing, disappointing. I can't believe it. Like, you guys really screwed it all up. I'm so beside myself. So a game where the writers, they really screwed the pooch. That's the game that wins Game of the Year. And again, you know, last year was Astrobot, and it's like, dang, dude. I mean, every year Baldur's Gate 3 before that. Baldur's Gate 3 was a trash game. Nobody cared about it. Very few people actually played the game. And it was just an average game, right? Years ago, it would have been an average game. People's standards have really dropped. No one remembers any of the characters from Baldur's Gate 3. No one remembers any of the characters. No one remembers any of the dialogue lines. Nothing. You know, from Skyrim, you can still remember Lydia. You can still remember certain characters and certain moments. Things were memorable at one point in time. It's because the games were made by people who knew how to make something memorable. Things are not memorable just because, oh, there's less games coming out. Things are memorable because of the significance of the product. That's why anything's ever relevant. Oh yeah, we have a black Templar in this. Yeah, wow. Templars are totally black. Just screw off, dude. Yeah, man. It's just in so many previous years, there was actual competition. The stories actually meant something. The characters actually meant something. Things were memorable because actual memorable moments were taking place, right? People remember things that have significance, things that have meaning, substance. We don't remember the things that don't have meaning, that don't have substance. And that's the issue that we have now. Like, look at this. Really visually appealing trailer. Amazing looking trailer. But guess what? No substance. You're not going to remember this. You're not going to care. What an awesome freaking fight scene. Of course, they had to give it to a black guy because, you know, America's now black people. Black people represent America. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, I'm so sick and tired of this nonsense. I'm so tired of it. I'm so over it, man. Yeah, what a crazy trailer, though. It is really interesting. Just visually speaking, really impressive trailer. Wow. It really is cool, but what's the substance of the story? What's the substance of anything happening? Right? Everything looks cool. Everything is visually appealing here. Like, this is awesome. Just look at the effects on the lightning. It's so good. But does it have any meaning? No. Do the characters mean anything? No. And that's where we're at right now. As a culture, we've atrophied so extensively. It's sad and it's depressing, you know, where everything's at now. It's really saddening. So, you know, Expedition 33, it won Game of the Year. And the combat and the gameplay, it was okay, you know. Is it really anything that truly special? No, I would not say so, but it was interesting and they were trying to do something new with it, so I really appreciate that. So I'm not going to hate on the game too much on its own self, on its own merits. But really, it was the story that was the biggest F-up of Expedition 33. And again, you know, you look at all the past years and they used to have some meaning. Characters used to mean something. Everything actually had importance, and nowadays we're so far past it. I don't know, it just looks like no longer are we ever going to have like great characters and great storytelling, right? I keep on asking myself every year, are we going to have a great game? Are we going to have a great story? Are we going to have a great anything that represents our culture? And it's like, well, our culture is dying, it's atrophying. We're getting replaced as a population, you know, America and Europe just getting completely replaced by the shitskins. So there's no future for any of these countries. And right now what we're looking at is that we are walking into the dark ages. We are walking into an ethnic Armageddon, and nothing will be of impact, importance, significance. Everything's going to turn into the third world walking into the future. So anyways, that's it here, man. That is the Game Awards. Nice breasts on whoever that chick is. And yeah, apparently they're releasing Deadpool for Marvel Rivals, whatever. But, you know, I do love that game for all the women and their breasts. So with that being said, we're done here. Who's this washed up chick? Hold up, let's see her. Well, she's not as washed up as everyone else, but again, where's the women with the enormous breasts? None of them are here. None of them wanted to show up. I hate my life. Anyways, all right, guys, that's it here. That's Game Awards 2025. I am really disappointed, but that's the gaming industry for you.